that's good. Yes, I did. So I had one job in college, a cart collector at Costco. And I know what you guys are thinking, like, I'm sorry, Rock, did you say card collector? No, I said cart collector. And I had this bright-ass orange, like, vest on, indicating, I guess, that I was the one who was collecting the card. I don't know if the card collectors are still wearing the bright-ass orange vest that I did, but I was in college, and that job lasted all of one day. I was like, I'm out. No, I'm not. Fuck this noise. It just wasn't for me. And then throughout my college career, I actually painted houses, and I prepped houses to be painted. So I did construct that kind of, get my hands dirty kind of work. There was a really good guy. His name is Bruce, and I hope I get his last name right. It's Gibson. He gave me a job every summer, and I really appreciate that, because as full-time student athletes, we didn't get any money, and we were all just piss broke down at the University of Miami. And I was very fortunate that, he paid me every summer, and I worked my ass off in that hot-ass sun, but, he really took care of me. So, Bruce, if you're out there, thank you, man. I appreciate you taking care of me back then when I needed it. Any more Hobbs and Shaw films? Yes. We are developing now the next film, the next Hobbs movie. And I'm pretty excited about it. We're really excited about it too. Just got to figure out the creative right now and the direction we're going to go. But thank you guys around the world for really making that one such a huge success. We almost made, I think, $750 million or something crazy like that. I just want to say thank you guys so much, because that was a big one. That was the big spinoff that hopefully, if that did not succeed, then they weren't going to continue any kind of spinoff identity for Fast and Furious. So luckily it did succeed, and now they're talking about a spinoff for the female characters, which I'm very excited about, and I know that so thank you guys very much for that. I appreciate it. I love you back, Philly. Brad Slater, I need that question again, man. Hobbs Junket was legendary. Thank you. Good to see you, brother. What is my Tony Baker comedy, that French toast? What's up, buddy? Good to see you. What's up, Kurdistan? Good to see you. Yes, so I will tell you, thank you, Brad Slater, for that question. I have, before I made it to the bright lights of the WWE and the global success that the WWE is, I started in a small wrestling company down in Memphis rather, called the USWA, and my guarantee every single night was $40. That was our guarantee, wrestling for the USWA, and our guarantee was wrestling was $40 per match. And I would wrestle in flea markets every Monday and state fairs, the Nashville State Fair every Saturday night, in front of 200 people maybe, 300 maybe. So to supplement my income at the intermissions, so I had a guarantee of $40 per match. So I knew that I could guarantee that was going to be in my pocket, $40. But to supplement my income, what I used to do is during intermission, I used to go out into the crowd, and a few of us would do this, and we would go to where we called it the gimmick table, and this is where you sold like your pictures and your little trinkets that had your name on them for fans. And the big money maker for me was I had my own Polaroid camera, and I would charge $5 if somebody wanted to take a picture with me. And on a good night, I could clear $50. So on a good night, I could walk away with almost $100. And that was a big deal when you're starving, but you're also cutting your teeth and you're learning the wrestling business and how important it is. And by the way, my story isn't independent of anybody else. Every single wrestler and many who have gone on to be the greatest of all time, from Stone Cold Steve Austin to Macho Man Randy Savage, you name it, everybody has gone through the Memphis territory of the USWA. All of us starved, making $40 per match, and everyone's selling their gimmicks. So I wasn't the only one, but so I'll never forget those days, because those days, by the way, when I was living, I rented out a little room, in Memphis, Tennessee, on Union, right off of Union, and it was cool for me because I'm a big fan of music, and I was a big fan of Johnny Cash and Elvis Presley and Jerry Lee Lewis, and Sun Records was right down the road from where I lived, and it was just like this old cool part of town in Memphis. So I'll never forget that, and living at the Waffle House, eating at the Waffle House 3 times a day. Cheers to the Waffle House. Scattered, smothered, covered. But those days I carry with me still, because it keeps me grateful and grounded for the life I have today. All right, what else do we got? Rock for President. Thank you. Maybe one day. Thank you. What's my favorite music? What's up, Russia? What quality do I admire most and respect most of my wife? It's a good question. Lewis Howell's coming through with the great questions, man. Thank you. The quality that I love about my wife, Lauren, is, come back to me with that Wrestle with Andy. I want to see that question about Memphis, but I want to answer this one because it's important, and because I think she's listening and she's watching. But the quality that I love about my wife, Lauren, is she truly, truly, truly is the kindest. I mean, kind from deep in the bones, mana, spirit. Truly the kindest human being I've ever met. And that permeates, and that kind of spirit of kindness and warmth, deep in the mana and the soul, that permeates, and that's very powerful. That's very, very powerful. That's when you know, you can be famous, you could be not famous, you could be, from wherever you're at around the world, whatever your bank account says, who gives a shit? When somebody is kind and loving and warm, that's the kind of stuff that moves the world. That's the kind of stuff that really disrupts. So thank you for asking that question. I gained a lot of brownie points with that one, baby. But it's true. She's the best. Lucky man. All right. What do we got? Just got done watching Moana. Thank you for watching Moana. What can I say except you're welcome? So here's a funny story. So I was holding baby Tia today. This is a true story. So she loves when so we got to a point now where when I wash her hands, as we are teaching our children to wash their hands, how important washing the hands is. We used to sing the ABCs to give them an idea of how long they need to wash their hands for. Then I thought, what if we just tried the rap portion of Moana, of the song that I sing in Moana, called You're Welcome, and let's see how the timing is on that. So we started, and I started washing her hands, and now every time I pick her up, and every time we're in the kitchen together, it's, Daddy, sing the song, Daddy, sing the song. And I'm like, you don't want to hear me say, okay, listen, honestly, kid, I could go on and on. I could explain every natural phenomenon. I won't do it now, but she loves it, and it drives me crazy because now I can't stop rapping that. Lin-Manuel Miranda, thank you, brother, for writing that one. Cheers to you. All right. That's a good. Oh, what's up, brother? Good to see you. You stay safe too. Crook boys. 2000 Rock versus 1985 Ric Flair. Who goes over it? That's good. Ric Flair, easy. Mel Chauncey, good to see you, brother. You're always an inspiration. Your story's an inspiration. Can't wait to show it to the world and tell it to the world. So speaking of Ric Flair, you guys have been asking me, like, who is on my Mount Rushmore professional wrestlers? I know, James, I know I only had one bite of this French toast. James J. Jefferson, good to see you, brother. My wrestling Mount Rushmore would be the immortal Hulk Hogan, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, the Texas Rattlesnake, Steve Austin, and that fourth person I always kind of keep blank because I vacillate back and forth between Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, Bruno Sammartino, Randy Macho Man Savage, Dusty Rhodes. You know, it's hard to kind of quantify because for me, you always want to pick people who have had the most impact on the wrestling business, who move the bottom line, but also, most importantly, they just had this intangibleness X factor where they could connect with a crowd and connect with an audience. And the bottom line is, with those three individuals that I mentioned, Hogan, Austin, and Flair, they really moved the company's bottom line. They moved the NWA's bottom line, the WWF and the WWE's bottom line. In terms of drawing power, these guys were the biggest draws in the history of professional wrestling. And that's all that matters. You know, you can have 15 world titles and 27 other kind of titles that you have these days, but the bottom line is how strong can you draw? And are you selling arenas out, and are you breaking records? Really, that's the bottom line. And those three guys have. I think Sammartino did for a very long time. Bob Backlund had an incredible run, too, as well. Where am I on Mount Rushmore? I would say I'm on the back of Mount Rushmore. That's the part you don't see. But I'm on the back there all by myself, and I'm raising my eyebrow, and if you smell, I'm doing all that shit. That's me on the back. Great question. The Teremana Tequila bottle. Yes, I will tell you a little bit about the bottle. I'll show you guys here. So, all right, I know I didn't dent this French toast, but I'll tell you about the Teremana Tequila bottle. So we put a lot of effort and work into these Teremana Tequila bottles. This is the Reposado, this is the Blanco. And so what I wanted to do was, I wanted the bottle to represent its founder. Myself, broad in the shoulder, little narrow at the hip. Depends on how much cheat meal I have and how much tequila I drink. A little bit wider in the neck, little thick neck here. But also for the bartenders out there, I wanted them to be able to grab on to the bottle here and be confident in grabbing it and make it feel like they're grabbing something substantial. And they're pouring, and wanted to make it easy for them. And I also wanted to create a bottle that wasn't your typical tequila bottle. And so I came up with this design, and it seems like a lot of people out there like it. And I'll give you a little tutorial on Teremana. Yes, Sydney, we are soon, as soon as we can. So I'll give you a little bit of information, but here on the front of Teremana Tequila, you will see, so here are the blue agave. These are the agave fields. Maybe you guys can see it right here. These are the agave fields in Jalisco, Mexico. These are our agave fields, our Teremana agave fields, high in the mountains of Jalisco. Our tequila is made at approximately, I think, about 7,500 feet up in elevation. And there's a lot of cool little details here. So I don't know if you guys can see that, but right over here in the corner, and it's really subtle. This is the copper pot stills that we use. So in the world of tequila making, I go back a few years ago. I wanted to create a tequila. I have my palate for tequila is it's it's of a pretty decent quality. So I started with the tequilas that I loved. This was about 5 years ago, and I used that as that was going to be our reference. So I wanted to make sure that the tequila was made of the highest quality. And as I started to understand the process of making tequila, you realize that the highest qualities, the most expensive tequilas, they use copper pot stills. So right there in the corner, there's our copper pot stills that we have at our Teremana distillery, and they are all made by hand. And when you actually go there, and I've spent time in Jalisco, in our small town where we make it at our distillery, Teremana Distillery, they take a little hammer and they dent the entire copper pot still, because what it does when you dent it, it does this really cool thing to the fermentation, to the process of it, and it just adds a sweeter quality, a higher quality to the tequila. So I wanted to make sure that that our copper pot stills are there. This NOM 1613. So the NOM, without getting too technical in tequila business, but what separates Teremana from the other tequilas around every tequila in the market is that our Teremana tequila at our Teremana distillery, only makes Teremana tequila. So you could have a distillery that produces hundreds of tequilas from many, many different brands, but we are very proud of that. So Teremana, at our distillery, we only make Teremana, so it's our own NOM number. No one will ever share that. And on the back, we wanted to make sure that we had 100% transparency. What I found in the spirits world was I always thought, well, what am I drinking, and what's inside the Teremana, or what's inside the tequila in terms of ingredients, in terms of health facts, because I'm health conscious. So this tequila is 100% gluten-free, and on the back, for the very first time ever, we're completely transparent in showing you guys the calories, the carbohydrates, the sugar, as you will see. It is 0 sugars, 0 carbohydrates, gluten-free. So for the very first time, we have a tequila that, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew what they were getting. One other thing that's very cool I want to show you guys. So as I went across the country to speak with our buyers and our distributors, from our big Walmart partners to our mom and pop businesses all across the country, I wanted them to know that I'm getting into the tequila business as this is a legacy for me. It's a legacy play for me. It's a legacy investment. This is not something that I want to build up in 5 years or 10 years and then sell it and then move on to the next thing. This is something that I want to build, and this is something that's important to me, and I want to hold on to it for the rest of my life, and I want to pass this on to my children and my children's children. So there's a little thing here on the bottom that a lot of bartenders and a lot of you guys have asked me about. You don't know what it is. Well, I'll show you what it is now. So embossed right there, and it's kind of turned in many different ways, is the word Tejassi. And this embossment of Tejassi is the identifier and the indicator of my legacy, motivation. And Tejassi is combining the first 3 names of my children, of all my 3 daughters, Tiana, Jasmine, and Simone. Tejassi. So that is the indicator that it's all legacy. And so what I also wanted to do was the most important thing was to make sure that it was the highest of quality, made with the highest of quality, from copper pot stills to brick oven roast for many, many days. And I wanted to make sure, most importantly, that everybody could afford it. So nobody's paying, nobody's overpaying, nobody is paying an arm and a leg. And I want to make sure that all you guys are able to afford it. So, cheers. Hey, Brazil, good to see you. I've not put a dent in this French toast. I'm also getting texts from Lauren. Get your ass in the house. What do you think of Joe Exotic's go-to cheat meals? First of all, like a lot of you guys, I have been so fascinated with Tiger King on Netflix and I just finished it last night, and I was really quite blown away. I mean, these casts of characters that you find. I came up in the world of professional wrestling. There are many characters like Joe Exotic in the world of pro wrestling, especially when I came up in the world of pro wrestling, and especially because, again, I grew up in it, so from the 70s and 80s. But what was most, I think, revealing about that docu-series was it really the treatment of animals, and the treatment of these really big, beautiful cats. And it's hard to say who's doing right by the animals, who's not doing right by the animals. But I try to underreact when I see things. But so who knows? I don't know. Who's right, who's wrong, who's lying, who's not lying. But I can tell you I was thoroughly entertained. I mean, up to 3 o'clock in the morning watching that. So, and so much so that I called my agent and I said, brother, give me the rights to this because I want to make this movie. I think $7 can really produce something special and something revealing and informative and entertaining and really dig into these human beings who have just led this insane life. And then he said, no, can't do it. Somebody else snatched the rights up. And I was like, shit. All right, well, somebody else will make that movie. But anyway, yeah, I was fascinated by that. No, I have not put a dent in this. Been drinking. We all know who was wrong, James. Yes, can't wait for the Smashing Machine 2 as well. Smashing Machine, I think, as a lot of you guys know, that is a documentary that I saw, and I cannot wait to make that movie. It's based on one of the founding fathers of MMA and UFC. His name is Mark Kerr, heavyweight, who had just gone through an incredible journey in his life of addiction, being down, depression, and then being the greatest in the world. He's still alive today, and I can't wait to make that movie. All right, so we're going to wrap this up because I got about half a bottle of Teremana that I'm going to kill. And so before we do that, let's see. Is there anything else? What's up, Sadiq? Good to see you, brother. Keep working hard. I know you are. Thank you for watching my movies. I appreciate it. Love you back. Thank you. Who would play The Rock if there was a movie about your life? No idea. I have no idea. I think it would have to be me. What's your secret talent and skill that no one knows that you have? My secret talent? Well, let's see. Well, I can't really show you because it leads to making babies. Guys, it's just a tequila talking at this point. It's just a Teremana talking. So this thing says that I have 7 seconds remaining. I just want to see what happens. Thank you for bearing with me. It's the very first time I've done IG Live.